What's up, YouTube peeps and barbecue freaks? Thank you guys for stopping by today. Hey, you guys like the new hat? Can you make that out? North Texas Barbecue Addicts. Big shout out to brother Kenneth over at What's New Barbecue for the hat. I appreciate it, brother. And those of you that are into barbecuing, if you'd like a Facebook group to join, it's all about barbecue. Look it up on Facebook, North Texas Barbecue Addicts. I'll leave a link below. Anyway, I constantly get asked. Why does that not sound right? Asked. I constantly get asked. It just doesn't sound right to me. Anyway, if I would ever use my pit barrel cooker in competitions, and the answer is yes. However, I really need to practice on it some. I don't think it's smart to just take it out there and start using it without doing some test runs, kind of getting down time in, things like that. So that's what this video is going to be about. I got a rack of ribs that I'm gonna season just like I would in a competition. I'm gonna treat them the exact same way and see how they turn out. I know on a pit barrel cooker, the taste that a pit barrel cooker puts on ribs is crazy good. So if I can combine that with my recipe, I think I'm gonna have a winner rib dinner. Now, the only different thing that I'm doing is I'm using a rack of baby backs instead of spare ribs. I should be using spares. However, I bought a rack of baby backs, not even planning to make this video. I was just gonna, season them up and throw them on the pit barrel, and I thought, I got the time, why not do it? So that's gonna be the only thing different than what I would do in the competition. I'm using baby backs instead of spares. So I've got a rack of baby backs. We're gonna get it open. Let's get these ribs seasoned up and get them on the pit barrel cooker. All right, so I have a rack of ribs here. This is a little over 3 pounds. The first layer I'm gonna put on this is my SPG. You guys know that I usually use my SPG as my base rub for all my meats. So give that a nice little coating. Then I'm gonna come back with my second rub. I like to consider this my first rub, really, or my first layer, even though the SPG is on there. Get that patted in there. I'm gonna let this sit for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna add the second layer. All right, so that's set for just a bit. I'm gonna come back with my second rub. I'm gonna get this on here. I'm gonna let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll apply the final rub. And then I'm gonna flip it over and repeat the same process on the other side. So 5 minutes, we'll apply the third rub. All right, so lastly, I'm gonna put this last rub on here. Gonna let this set for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna repeat the process. I'm gonna flip it over and repeat the process. So I'll pick back up once I'm just about done with that. Pat that rub down in there. And the reason I wait between each rub is I like to put that first one in there, let it sweat in a little bit, put that second one in there, let that one sweat in a little bit. That's just kind of the way that I do things. And then, apply that last one, let it sweat in. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes. I'll flip it over, season the other side, and I'll pick back up once I'm done with that. And now we're gonna apply this last rub. I already applied the other rubs. Didn't film it because you saw me do it on the back side, so give it a nice coating, nice even coating. That pat it down. I'm gonna let this sit here, and we're gonna go fire up that pit barrel cooker. Get all that rub on there. So we're gonna let this sit, sweat in. I'll show you what that looks like after sweating in. let's go get that pit barrel cooker fired up. All right, you guys, I got the pit barrel fired up. I've got about a half a chimney full of unlit coals, and then I dumped about 12 lit coals on top. I've got cherry wood chunks for the smoke. We're gonna get the lid on, and we're gonna get these ribs on in just a couple of minutes. These ribs have been sitting for a while. You can see how that rub has sweated in to this rack of ribs. It's got some nice color to it already. I'm gonna get the hook on for the pit barrel cooker, and I'm gonna hook it at the top here on the thick end, and we're gonna get these on the pit barrel cooker. All right, so got the rack on here. We're gonna get the lid on, and you know, I'm gonna spritz it throughout the cook, probably starting at the 45-minute mark with I can't believe it's not butter. It's actually what I'm gonna use today. So that's what the ribs look like. They're on the pit barrel cooker. Let's get this lid on and get this cook underway. All right, you guys, I just want to show you what these ribs look like an hour and a half into the cook. So this is what they're looking like so far, an hour and a half in. So it's got some really nice color. I just spritzed them down, and I'm using, let me show you real quick here. This, I can't believe it's not butter. And I'm spritzing that on the ribs about every 20 to 30 minutes. But this is what they look like an hour and a half in. So got some really nice color. We're starting to get some pullback here, if you can see that. So we're gonna get these back on and continue to let them cook. They still got a little bit ways to go, and then we'll you know, once they're ready to wrap, we'll wrap them and then get them back on. But that's what they look like an hour and a half in. All right, so these ribs are done. Let me set them down right here. Or they're not done, but it's time to wrap. So this is, let me unhook this real quick. This is what they're looking like 2 hours in. Let's turn it sideways, give you a better look. Nice color. Damn it, that's some good color. So I'm gonna get that hook removed. I'm gonna flip them upside down, get them into this mixture, and get these ribs wrapped up. You guys, the ribs are wrapped. They're back on the pit barrel cooker. Put the grate in, got the rebar in. We're gonna put this lid on, and we'll check them in about 45 minutes. All right, you guys, these ribs have been going for about an hour wrapped. We're gonna take a look at them here and kind of see what they're looking like. Oh yeah, as you can see, hope you can make that out, there's plenty of pullback on these ribs already. So we're gonna give them a little, ooh, that is hot. Let me, 1 second. All right, so we're gonna test the tenderness of these ribs. Now you can use a toothpick. I'm out of toothpicks, so I'm using a whisk here, or part of a whisk, a skewer that I will use for my chickens. And what I'm doing is, and if you don't have one of these, I mean, if you have a like a thermopan or just something sharp, you know, that you can kind of stick in the meat, what you're doing is, or what you're checking for, is just a tenderness. So I think these ribs, tenderness wise, are right on point. I'm not getting a whole lot of resistance when I stick this, you know, in between the bones into the meat. So I think these are pretty much done. I guess again, another indication is, you know, I've got some really good pullback here. So we're gonna get these flipped over. I'm gonna sauce the top, and then I'm gonna get them back on for about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, and let that sauce set. So let's get this flipped over, get them resauced, and we'll get them back on the pit barrel. All right, we got these ribs flipped over. As you can tell, man, look at that color. That is absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna take some sauce and just kind of dump it right on top. Use whatever sauce you like. I'm going with my comp sauce, so I'm not showing you what that is. And then I'm just gonna give it a quick dab. I don't like to brush the sauce on because you leave those streaks, but I do like to dab it. This kind of spreads that sauce out without leaving the streaks in it. So I think that's good. Again, as you can tell, well, I hope you can make it out, there aren't any streaks on the rack of ribs. So I'm gonna take these back outside on the big oil cooker. I'm gonna let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes, kind of let that sauce set, and then we'll pull them off. All right, you guys, these ribs are done. They've been sauced. We let the sauce set for about 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. And we're gonna get these out of this foil. We're gonna get on the cutting board and get them sliced up and give them a taste. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking this juice, and just kind of basting it on top of the rib. Just kind of give it a nice little glaze. Add a little bit of more flavor to the top of these ribs. And then we'll give them a taste. There's a lot of flavor in this liquid here. That's that brown sugar, honey, butter. You know, you still have some fat from the ribs that rendered out. So it's some good stuff. Let's give it a quick little taste. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff. So we're gonna let get these ribs cut up, and we'll give them a taste. All right, these ribs are done. Let's cut into them and see what they look like. So I'm just gonna go right down here. And then we'll cut right into this one. Man, they cut really, really well. I could tell that they're tender just by the way they're cutting. I think that's all I'm going to cut for right now. Let's take a look at one of these ribs, see what they look like. Oh yeah, there's plenty of moisture in these ribs. Look at that. Plenty of moisture in the ribs. So I'm happy with that. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, that's got, if you can pick that up, plenty of moisture in the rib. The outside of the rib looks amazing. I'm really, really happy with these. I cannot wait to bite into this. Man, look, that's a thick rib right there. So there's some moisture in that, as you can see. All right, let's give these bad boys a taste. All right, you guys, here's the rib. Look at that, that's some nice color on the rib. It's thick, it's moist. Let's give it a taste. Oh man, look at that bite. I barely took a bite off of that. I didn't have to pull at all. Man, that bite is just, look at that bite. I mean, it's just excellent. Perfect bite. The rest of the meat stays on. Man, just right where our bite comes off. That's a damn good rib, you guys. Man, oh man. Damn it, that's good. All right, you guys, those ribs were excellent. They cooked, the total cook time was about 4 hours. I do not know the pit temp because I didn't monitor that. I will say that the next time I do this, I would probably add a little more charcoal to the pit barrel. I think the amount that I added for just this one rack actually worked very well, but I would like to give myself just a little more cushion when it comes to having enough heat in the pit. Again, I don't know what the pit temp was reading, but just by looking at the charcoal and seeing how much had burned away, I can tell that it was already dying down. So I would probably add a full chimney of unlit coals and then a half chimney of lit coals on top the next time. This time I did about half and half, a half chimney full of unlit coals and a half chimney full of lit coals. So outside of that, of course, the flavor that that pit barrel cooker puts on these ribs is phenomenal. Man, that's good. I I definitely need to continue to play around with my pit barrel cooker, especially when it comes to like comps and our cooking comp ribs on it, and making sure I got my time down. But I think this first run was a success. I'm happy with the final product, and I'm telling you guys, these ribs are good. They were really, really good. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you found it useful. I will see you guys next time. Take care.